For every 100 shillings, because percent is 100, for every 100 shillings, before 2009-2010 financial year, it is only 65 shillings that would be turned into medicine. The 35 shillings would be in operations. Now, with the same 100 shillings, 92 shillings is medicine. It is only 8 shillings which is in operations. So even by government not increasing the money, you would get more medicine because of the mode of operation. Just that innovation was able to increase the quantity of medicines that will come to you by that much. The second innovation or intervention was embossment. I hope all of us at one point or the other visit government health facilities. And if you have been visiting government health facilities, you should have realized that the medicines that government gives to you are different from the medicines that you find in the private sector. They are written on Government of Uganda, not for sale. Have you taken the bother to see those words? Yes. They are written on Government of Uganda, not for sale. That was a presidential directive that had been on for some time, but we decided to operationalize it in 2008. Before then, if you would get Panadol from the private sector and you get Panadol from NMS or from government, they would all be the same. Meaning that if somebody takes this Panadol out of government, you wouldn't even tell. He would sell it to you in a pharmacy or a drug shop or clinic, and you wouldn't tell. Now, it is a bit difficult for people. I remember that time when we would discuss with the people in CID and DPP's office who were arresting these people and charging them in courts of law. The conviction rate at the time was not more than 10%. Because people would ask you, what is the difference between this Panadol and this one? Unless if you have found me carrying it out of the hospital. Now, the conviction rate, if they find you with the government facility, is 100%. Because it is very clear. You just say, this is government. And nobody can contest that. So we have not only enabled the process of the medicines remaining in health facilities, but we are also dealing with that other person who is too risky, who takes the risk and takes them out, and enabled other law enforcement organs to do their work more effectively. The other innovation that we have, which is on page 9, is the basic kit. And many of us have wrongly been accusing national medical stores that this is a push. People have said, you know, our health center 2s and health center 3s do not make orders. NMS sits in Entebbe and pushes the medicines to us. Now, I'd like to tell you that NMS has never pushed even one carton of medicine to you. What was happening before 2009 was that we would sit here. You have seen the delivery schedule, a copy. I think each one of us has that copy. We have shared it. If you see that delivery schedule, that's the delivery schedule that I was telling you. The first column, which is written on 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5, those are our zones. I want us to understand that before we go to the next step. Are you seeing it? Yeah. Under each zone, there are a set of districts. And I can tell you, even the district that was created this financial year is there. So just go through those, you will see your district. If there is anybody that does not see the name of their district, put up your hand. Each of your district is mentioned there. So that is the next column. The third column is the cycle that we were talking about. So you will see under each zone, which has a set of districts, there is cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4, and cycle 6. Are we together? Now, those cycles are the times that we deliver to you. Because we've said we deliver to you once every 2 months. So the 12 months, in the 12 months, if we are delivering to you once every 2 months, that means those are 6 cycles, right? So each of the zones has 6 cycles. The next column is the order deadline. It tells you by that date, if you expect medicines for the cycle. Now we are in cycle 3. We are actually delivering cycle 3. We are delivering cycle 3. Can you see cycle 3? We are delivering cycle 3 throughout the country. So there is an order deadline, right? Which says by this time, if you are in zone 1, we will say by this time you should have given us your order. And then we tell you, if you have given us your order by that time, by that next column now, that is when the delivery ends. By that time, you should have received your supplies. I think now we are starting zone 4. That is what we should be delivering in zone 4. Meaning that if you are in zone 3, if your district is in zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3, right? For cycle 3, you should have received your medicines by now. Are we together? If your district, I want anyone who comes from the districts in zone 1, in zone 2, in zone 3, who can say that their medicines have not been delivered to their district by now? Put up the hand. By now. We have delivered your medicines to your district by now. We are now already in zone 4. That is why you are here. That is why you are here. You are here in order to get this information. Because for us, we thought every Ugandan knew this. And the people told us, no, we don't know. And we said, how can leaders not know? How can leaders not know? Because the leaders are the ones that should know. So how are you leading if you don't know? So we are now giving you the information. And I can tell you that each of the districts in zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3 has already received their medicines. And as we go through these innovations, I will also be able to show you that I even know the person who received these medicines in your health center too. I know. In your district, whether it is in zone 1, that is the eastern part of Uganda, including Karamoja, whether it is zone 2, whether it is zone 3, I even know the person who received your medicines with the telephone number. And I'll be able to give you, you just tell me my health center 2 or health center 3 in my village is this. I'll go in my phone, I check, I tell you the person who received is so, and this is the telephone. And we can even call them from here. I have that information. So you should have this information. So as you can hear, some of you have this information. So we do not and we did not as NMS decide to push medicines for health center 2s and health center 3s. What we do is that at the beginning of the financial year, currently we are doing this exercise for next financial year, we come to your district and we use our own money and call every in charge of every health facility in your district. And they sit at the center with their DHO. NMS with the Ministry of Health, we only sit and help them make their procurement plan, which they call a basic kit. And each one of them signs that basic kit and puts the name, signature, and the telephone number of every in charge of a health center 2 and health center 3 in this country. I have all their contacts here. So they tell us that this is what we need out of the money. So just like the procurement plan that I talked about, this constitutes the procurement plan of your health center 2 and health center 3. What used to happen before 2008, before this basic kit 2009, was that we would sit here and wait for orders, and they would never come. The in-charges of your health center 2, your health center 3, they would never send the orders. The order deadline has reached, we do not have the order. So what do we do? So what we would do is that we would go and deliver to the facilities that have made orders and leave others out. And if we leave the other ones out, it will mean that the next time you are going to receive is after another 2 months. So 2 months you have not received, another 2 months, those are 4 months without medicines. So when we sat here, we said, how can the people, the innocent patients, suffer just because the in-charge is not able to make the order? That is why we sat with them and said, can you give us a standard order? Just look at the diseases in your district, the diseases in your village, the diseases, and say, out of this money, I need plasters, I need IV fluid so much, I need amoxicillin so much, if you need syringes so much, if you need total, this budget. So that for us, when that order deadline comes, for us what we do is to automatically deliver that to you. And I can tell you since that time, every health center 2 and every health center 3 in the country has been getting their medicines. Just out of that innovation. But we keep telling people that that basic kit is not cast in stone. And that is what you have been calling a push, that NMS sits here and push. We don't. They are your people who made these orders. And if you want to check, we will give you the order that you made, your person made, and signed. And your DHO stamped. So we have told them that that is not cast in stone. Because at the time when you make this order, probably the situation was different. Through the financial year, if you thought you needed so much of Coartem, and now your people are using mosquito nets, and you no longer need Coartem, write to us through the DHO and say, I no longer need Coartem. What I need is something else. That is all. And for us as NMS, we will make the changes here, and we start giving you now the new thing you have added, and we'll stop giving you the thing that you have said you don't need. And we have orders here, we have letters that we have been receiving from your districts telling us to change, and we have been changing immediately. But we still hear that in your districts, people are stuck with Coartem. Some of us are telling, we no longer need Coartem, but NMS continues giving it to us. How will we know if you did not tell us to stop? Because you are the one who says, give me. Now you have never told us, stop. And we continue giving. And what do we hear from you? NMS is pushing. That's being unfair to us. Please. We are giving you this information so that we can improve. We are not perfect. We are human beings. But we can only work on the information that we have. The fourth intervention was the last mile delivery of these commodities. Before 2011, whenever you would make your orders, National Medical Stores would take its trucks and deliver the medicines at the DHO's office and come back. After some time, we started listening to the people and say, but we don't have the medicines. And NMS will say, but we delivered these medicines 2 months ago. And when we would send our people to go to some of these stores at the DHO's, we would find the medicines we sent 2 months ago are still there. When we asked the district authorities why they have not delivered the medicines, they would give us very good reasons. Our vehicle could not move. We did not have allowances for the driver. The person, we didn't have fuel. Finance has not given us the money. And they are valid reasons. But for us as NMS, we have delivered the medicines. And the people, the patients who are waiting for the medicines, as I had said at the beginning, they don't want fear. They see government as one. The patients do not know NMS, DHO, a counselor. What they want is, we paid our taxes, we want the service. So we came down here and said, we must do something. So we start with the DHOs, we start with the authorities in the districts and our supervisors in the Ministry of Health and local government. I said, can we do things a little differently? Can we take over that last stretch from the DHO's office to the individual health facilities? Can we take it over from you? It was not easy, but we finally agreed. And that is what we call the last mile. So now, our trucks go up the DHO's office, they offload the medicines, but we tell the DHO staff, eyes on, hands off. Do not open these cartons, because we also had challenges that I don't want to mention here with the opening of the cartons at the DHO's office. So we agreed that eyes on, hands off. Then we have people who we hire. We are the people who pay them. They come to the DHO's office, pick these medicines, and deliver them to each and every individual health facility in your district. And when those medicines are received, the person has signed the delivery documents. You make sure, because it is that person now that will open the carton and say what is on the delivery note. They have put there 10 tins of Panadol. Are they 10? 1, 2, 3, 10. Yes. These one syringes, are they there? This one, no, it is not there. This one is in excess. This one is, and put the comments there. And once they've done that, then that person enters into our IT tool, which I will be talking about, and says, Hajat so-and-so, who is the in charge of Nakaseke Health Center 3, is the one who received these medicines, and this is her telephone number, and sends the message. And I receive it instantly. This message is copied to all the members of parliament in Uganda. All of them. All the RDCs in Uganda are copied in. All the DHOs and all the chief administrative officers are copied in. Now nobody calls me. It is self-service. The people who used to ask me, NMS, you have not delivered. NMS, when I... Now I tell them, it is self-service. You have the message on your phone, you have it on your email. They now know that, yes, they can look at the delivery note and see this is when NMS was supposed to deliver. Now they can look at the tool and say, this is when NMS delivered. So if you find that we have delivered outside the delivery schedule, hold us accountable. Nobody has come back to say we have not delivered within the time we are supposed to deliver. Everything is clear. Wealthful. We are now in the era of wealthful. There is a person in this part of Uganda who loves that word, or wealthful. So we are as transparent as that. Anybody can know when we have delivered. And we delivered, we took over that last mile at the same cost. We have not charged the district any single shilling for taking over that. We said, let the central government, let NMS do that work at the same cost. Now, issues of equity, before we go to the regional customer care office. We are one of the entities of government that deliver our service in the most equitable manner. What do I mean? Is that when I deliver paracetamol or Panadol to the health facility in Koboko, it is at the same price as the cost of paracetamol to Entebbe Hospital, which is behind here. And that is what government is supposed to do. That is why governments exist. That you do not suffer because you are far. If you are buying fuel now, it may surprise you that the cost of fuel in Kampala is lower than the cost of fuel in Entebbe. Kampala to Entebbe. The cost of fuel in Entebbe is higher. Just these few kilometers. If you go to Arua, the cost of fuel in Arua is higher because you are further than Kampala. But I can tell you, for the NMS service, the cost of the medicine you get in Arua is at exactly the same cost as the one of Entebbe. Equity. That is an advantage that you should not suffer because you are far. We talked about, on page 10, another intervention of the regional customer care offices. I talked about that and I told you that we have 9 now, and they are out there helping you to resolve the issues, to give you all the information that you may need about how we do what we do. Intervention number 6 is on the provision of oral morphine for palliation. Now, many of us may not know this, because if you have not had a patient who is terminally ill, I don't know whether we understand each other. You have cancer, or you have HIV, or you have some other disease that most likely you are not going to get healed from it. But we do not want you, when you are still living, to live with pain. The solution or the medicine that they use is this oral morphine. We were able to partner with Hospice Uganda, and we are able to provide this oral morphine to every patient in Uganda who needs it, free of charge. This is not anywhere in the world. Free morphine for patients who are terminally ill. It is not anywhere in the world. It is here. Anywhere else, it is in Uganda. People have been coming to study from all over the continent, outside the continent, how Uganda could have done this. But for us, it's so dear to us, because we know that much as you may need Coartem for malaria, another person needs ARVs, there is that person who is on medication and is going to be there for the rest of their lives, and they are in great pain. They need to be helped. We have also been retrieving expired medicines. Some Ugandans were asking us, NMS, you have a problem. We don't have medicines, and you are telling us that you are removing expired medicines. One of the things I was telling them is, if somebody passes on, somebody has died, what do you do? You can go to court and talk about what killed the person, whether the person was knocked, you knocked my person, you should not, you are careless, but the person is what? In healthcare, the expired medicines are very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. While for us, we are arguing about, how did these things expire? They shouldn't have expired. Somebody is being given expired medicine because it is there. You have not collected it, you have not removed it from circulation, and because it is there, there is a Ugandan who is being fed on this medicine. A number of diseases that we are seeing recently are a result of that. But you want to do something good, and the people are arguing about, why did the medicines expire? People, we must first help the people who are living. Then we go and ask how the medicines expired. Chinua Achebe was a writer West African writer. He said, you first rescue the chicks from the ego, and then you start blaming the mother hen for having moved around with them in the compound. Otherwise, if you continue complaining, you mother chick, why did you go there? The ego will take all of them. So, retrieval and safe disposal of expired medicines is so important to Uganda and to every other country in the world that we must do all that is humanly possible to get these medicines out of the hands of the people that would misuse them. But maybe, if I may ask you, do we have medicines, do we buy medicines for our homes? Do you have any medicines in your home that you have not used? You buy medicine, but you don't use all of it. Why is it there? Why is it there? Why do you waste money buying medicines and then you throw it away? Yes. So it is the same way that it can happen here. It's the same way that it happens in your health facilities. The same process that creates expired medicines in your home is the same process that creates expired medicines in a health facility that creates expired medicines, sometimes at NMS. You buy medicines because you think you need it. But you may not use all of it. You cannot say, because I spent my money on this, I must take this medicine. You may not need it. What is in the issue here, what we should concentrate on, is the amount of medicine that expires. That is what is of concern to me, to you, to every Ugandan out there. How much medicine has expired? You should be worried if a lot of medicine expire. But if it is within, if you buy 20 tablets of Panadol and only 2 are not swallowed, why should it be an issue? But if you buy all the 20 and you throw away the 20, you start asking, how can we waste all this money? So what we are doing here is we are looking at international standards. How much medicine should expire internationally all over the world? How much is allowed to expire? 5% of the medicines that you buy or go through you, if not more 5% expires, you are okay. At the national medical stores, our board gave us a maximum of 2%. They even said 5% is too far. 2%. But for the past, I think, 10 years or so, we have not posted anything more than 0.4%. So we are not doing badly. You should not condemn us. We are much below what other countries, even with the best systems, do. Vaccines. This is something that Uganda has shown the world that it can do differently. Not the continent, the world. Before 2012, vaccines used to be handled by Ministry of Health through a program called UNEPI, that will do the procurement, the warehousing, and the distribution. But the political leadership realized that there was a challenge. At the time, I think around 2011 or thereabout, the coverage, the number of children who need to be vaccinated, our coverage was around 52%. 52% of the children that need to be immunized were immunized. And they were comparing us with the DRC, with Somalia, with Southern Sudan. That is the league where Uganda was. And the political leadership in the ministry said, no, that cannot continue. Let us do, as the Ministry of Health, what we are trained to do, and let NMS do what they are trained to do, what the law allows them to do. So they made a decision and transferred the vaccines from Ministry of Health to national medical stores to do the procurement, the warehousing, and the distribution. And because now each one of us has specialized in the areas where we are best at, the immunization coverage for Uganda is hovering between 98 and 99%. Just that simple decision. And the rest of the world is visiting Uganda and is asking, how can that happen? Because all over the world, vaccines are never handled by the national medical stores. They are handled as parallel programs. We told them we can do it and do it much better than you think. And as a result of that, Uganda, through your national medical stores, has been the leader on the continent on handling vaccines for the past about 3 years. I think the last one was done about 2 months ago, and Uganda scored 95%. WHO and Gavi are saying, I think we may need to consider not coming to assess Uganda, because we are now the ones training others. As I speak now, one of our staff is in Southern Sudan trying to train people how to handle the Ebola vaccine. This is the organization that Ugandans sometimes say is written off. But when you look closely at it, it is doing a little better than we think. Full deployment of IT tools, that is on page 12. This is what I was talking about. Making sure that whatever we do is shared by and with the major stakeholders. If the president of Uganda wants to know whether NMS has delivered to your district, he will not call me or any other person. He will just go to a tool there and he will know when we delivered and who received. If your chief administrative officer, your DHO, your RDC wants to know, they can know. If your member of parliament wants to know, they know. What we've been discussing with our board is which other people we should add there. So we will need to discuss. We have given you a form, a feedback form, and my sister somewhere was asking, when are we taking this? When we have finished our discussion, we will need to hear from you. You have a form, please put your name, your contact, and tell us from this interaction, what else do you want us to do so that we can improve the service? That is all we want. What else can we do? Is it because you did not have information, or it's because we are actually not doing what we are supposed to be doing? The achievements, they are there, and we have shared them with you. The ones from Gavi, the accolades that we have received, I think they are there. We've been able to pioneer oxygen plants. Oxygen is also a medical supply. And this oxygen cannot be bought in a pharmacy or a clinic. If you need oxygen and you don't have oxygen, it is a one way. That's why sometimes when I see people who do not believe in God and thank Him every morning that we wake up, I get surprised. Because the oxygen that we breathe freely, somebody is paying for it, and somebody is dying because they cannot get it. And you meet somebody and says there is no God. So NMS pioneered these oxygen plants, Before then, we used to get oxygen from the private people. I remember that time, there is a time we used to get oxygen from Mulago Hospital. It was coming from Kenya. Can you imagine? Something that is life-saving, you are waiting for it from Kenya. So NMS sat with the board and we said, no, can we do something differently? We started on a process of getting oxygen plants for the hospitals. We got one from Mbarara Referral Hospital, and now the rest we have been able to urge government, based on that example, to buy oxygen plant for every referral hospital in Uganda. Every referral hospital now has an oxygen plant. Jiggers, people don't want to talk about it. And we laugh about it, but I can tell you we have few of our Ugandans who are dying because of this. You will not believe it. Dying even in Kampala here. We have places where people are dying out of jiggers in Kampala. You don't believe it, but I am telling you as a fact. So NMS, among the other things that it has been able to do, because everybody in the world, all the science knew that if you have jiggers and you want to remove a jigger, you only have to use a safety pin. That was the science in the world. NMS was able to improve on that science, that actually you can get jiggers, you can eliminate jiggers from the body of an individual without using a safety pin, by using some medicine. And we have that medicine, and we were able to take it, and we tried it out in some part in eastern Uganda. We took it to Karamoja, 100% elimination. We have also taken it to Kigezi sub-region. There was a problem in one of the districts I don't want to mention. Perfect. So if you have this problem, we have the solution. If you have this problem, we have the solution. And we will be able to help your people. Don't feel shy. Your people, our people, they may be few, but we want even to take care of those few. Why should they die when there is a solution? We were able, I think last year, to do the mass free yellow fever vaccination. And for many people in Kampala, they benefited from that yellow fever, free yellow fever vaccination. We have been able to help the police facilities to construct sanitary facilities for them. And very recently, I think last month, NMS, as part of its corporate social responsibility, were able to go to northern Uganda and help our children who are suffering from nodding syndrome with some medicine which we think is going to seriously improve on their health. We also have a few challenges. Some of them may not be very appropriate for this forum. But on page 14, where there are other challenges, as I summarize, one is that we still have a challenge of aligning cycle orders with procurement plans. I shared with you that at the beginning of the financial year we get procurement plans which inform us about what we should buy for you. And then the cycle orders are the ones which call off what you said that we should buy for you. Says you should buy 10,000 Panadol for me for this year, but this cycle give me 2,000. Next cycle give me 1,000. The other cycle give me something. Now the challenge that we have in this area is that the procurement plans come saying I need 10,000 Panadols. When the cycle order comes, it is asking for something different. So that is what we call non-alignment. So I have procured the Panadol and it is here. But when your cycle order comes, it is asking for aspirin. What do you expect me to do? So that is why we are encouraging our in-charges in the health facilities. And now we are begging you, sit with these people. Talk to them. Plan with them so that they can make better procurement plans. If they make better procurement plan, the cycle orders will talk to the procurement plan, and then we will not have a challenge where NMS is telling people the stores are full. You are telling people the stores in our health facilities are empty. We want to change that. There is also another challenge of new facilities. You are seated, you know you have 30 facilities in District X. All of a sudden, when the financial year starts, you hear people saying they have constructed new facilities. But they were not planned for. So when NMS does not give medicines for the new facilities, they come to you as the district leaders, as the youth leaders, and tell you NMS is very useless. Why? Can you imagine they have never supplied medicines to this facility for the past so many months? But we did not have a budget for it. Others are upgraded. You have a health center 3. In the financial year, you hear that people sat in a district council and upgraded the health center 3 to health center 4. Now, you can take that political decision. But the political decision has a lot of other ramifications. The budget of a health center 4 is about 10 times the budget of a health center 3. So when you are going to upgrade, please consult with the technical people so that you know that when we upgrade, then the medicines and the budget for this facility is appropriate. Prescriptions. We all know what prescriptions are. Sometimes we have a challenge with health workers. I don't know how widespread it is in your districts, but sometimes we see it. And anything that affects the patient affects us, because when the patient goes to a health facility and they do not receive the medicines that they need, they think NMS has not delivered. It is very possible that you can go to a health worker and you are suffering from malaria, and they take a blood sample and they confirm that you have malaria. Instead of prescribing for you, if it is simple malaria, instead of prescribing for you Coartem, they put for you Harfan. It is very possible. In the health facility, there is a painkiller, Panadol. Somebody is prescribing diclofenac. Now, when you go to the window or to the pharmacy, somebody checks and says this is out of stock. For you, in your mind, you think there are no medicines. But the medicines are there. But they have prescribed for you something that is not there, but sometimes is outside there. You will know how to deal with that issue. I am just giving you information because I see it quite often. You find a patient walking from Mulago Hospital and other government hospital, moving through about 5 pharmacies looking for a name of a drug, only to be told when they land on it that actually it was Panadol. He has moved and people are saying, but what is this drug? We don't have it. We don't have it. When it is actually Panadol, but with another nickname. That is a challenge with prescriptions. But it is also possible. We call that causing artificial shortage. Because the shortage is not real. It is created. It is artificial. The Panadol is there. The Coartem is there. But somebody has prescribed for you Harfan and diclofenac, which are not there. So it is not that the medicines are out of stock. Somebody has created an artificial shortage. So when you sit with these people, those are things that you discuss with them. And you can get solutions in your areas where you come from. There is also something we call polypharmacy. You have malaria, somebody has actually prescribed for you Coartem and Panadol, but in addition, he puts some amoxicillin, vitamin, another 10 medicines. You don't need all that. And that is why when you take them at home, you cannot swallow them. You end up leaving them there to expire. Because you needed only 2 types of medicine. Somebody has given you 6. And then you find somebody who was coming after you, who needed those medicines that you have taken. When they come, they say they are out of stock. But they have gone with somebody who didn't need them. And the one who needed them did not get them. Those are all challenges of irrational prescription. You need to deal with them. I am just giving you information to enable you have an informed discussion. When you sit in your areas, when you go back to your districts, please have a quiet, informed discussion. Don't come here with sticks and you chase our health workers. No, it is just to allow you to have a basis for discussion. Theft of medicines is still there. NMS is not in charge of these medicines once we have delivered them to the facilities. Those are your medicines. You must have systems that ensure that when the medicines are there, they are not stolen. What systems, therefore, do you need to put in place to ensure that your medicines are not taken away? You may think they are not being stolen because you don't see them in private facilities. But some of us know that some of these medicines are stolen, and you find them in Southern Sudan, in DRC, in the neighboring countries. So please make sure that the medicines that come to you stay there. I have been talking from this side, and I want to end. But before I end, there's one simple challenge that I want us to share. And this is the challenge of preventing diseases. If you want the need to meet the supply, you have 2 sides of the equation. If you have people who need Coartem because they have malaria, you can solve that problem using 2 methods. Either you leave people to continue, as many people suffer from malaria and need Coartem, so that you give them as much Coartem as they need, or you tell people that there is something that they can do to reduce on the numbers that are suffering from malaria, and then the Coartem that you have is enough for the few that come. You can tell people to sleep under insecticide-treated mosquito nets. And for the people that have done it and done it well, in Kampala alone here, the need for Coartem has reduced by 95%. 95%. People no longer need Coartem in Kampala. Why? Using the mosquito nets properly. If it can happen in Kampala, it can happen in your district, it can happen in your village, it can happen in your sub-county. Why don't you ensure, you are the mothers, you are the youth, you are our people, you are our sister, why don't we ensure that we have a system in place that every child who needs to be immunized actually gets the vaccine and completes the course, so that we prevent the tuberculosis later in life, so that we prevent the measles later in life, so that we prevent all these other diseases that come later in life. We can do it. We have vaccines now for pneumonia. We have vaccines for diarrhea. Why are our children still dying of these preventable diseases? Somebody comes, you are from here, you have been at NMS, you reach your home, you start eating, there is food at the table, you start picking food and eating. You are traveling by bus or some transport, you stop at the roadside, they give you chicken, they give you what, you start gonja, you start eating. You have not washed your hands with soap. People leave toilets, latrines One person is enough with that disease. He can give all of us here. Just one person who did not wash their hands with soap after visiting a toilet. Other people don't even have even these latrines. And we are here, counselors, representatives of ladies, of youth. We still have people in our villages that do not have latrines. When one of the leaders said, I am going to enforce latrines, people say, we will not give you votes next time. We cannot move our country forward if we cannot share this basic information. All of us traveled by some vehicle of some sort coming here. How many of us had our safety belts on? When you are coming, how many, whether in a bus or in a taxi or in your vehicle, how many of us fastened those safety belts? So if that vehicle got involved in an accident, 95% of all of us would either be dead or would be seriously injured, just because we did not use that simple technology. Helmets, we don't use helmets. The youth, I see the youth here. The ladies, my hair, when that vehicle, rather the border knocks you down and your head is shattered, we will know whether your hair was more important than your life. Let us use the simple technologies that will reduce the number of people that go to the health facilities seeking health care. All I'm saying is that there are certain things that we can do that are within our means that are actually cheaper than going to look for medication or medicines from those health facilities, and that we are not doing. So that is what we call reducing the demand. What we have been doing here, advocating for government, health workers, increase supply, give us more health workers, give us more health facilities, give us more beds, give us more medicines. We can actually tell the people of Uganda, we can go and face our members of parliament and say, don't give us more money for medicines, because we have been able to solve the problem ourselves. Kampala now does not need any more money for Coatem because they have been able to reduce the incidence of malaria. We can do it in all the areas that we have talked about, through immunization, washing of the hands with soap, use of helmets and safety belts. You know, you have to eat well, eat nutrition, basic things. If there is anything else, if of all the things that you heard from me, if there is one thing that you should remember, even if you forget everything else that I have said, please don't forget the message of prevention. Whenever I'm discussing with people like you and others, I call this the message according, the gospel according to Saint Prevention. You have heard gospels according to other people. This is the gospel according to Saint Prevention. If all of us can understand these simple things, if all of us can share these simple things, because we are the people of influence. Start with your home, start with your relatives. If we can do this, we can reduce the number of people who go to seek for treatment in our health facilities by more than 70%. The figures that we have in Uganda is that 75% of the diseases that we take to government health facilities, including the private health facilities, are preventable. What that means in simple form is that out of the 100 people that you find in a health facility, 75 of them should not be there. Out of every 100 patients who are complaining today, who are in Mulago, who are in Kirudu, who are in Moyo, who are in Ajumani, who are in 75 of them should not be there if they did certain things right. And those ones do not need medicine. Those ones do not even need more health workers. Those ones do not need more health facilities. They don't need more beds. They just need us, me and you. Once again, I thank you for accepting our invitation to come. I thank you for listening. I thank you, and I depend on you. Each one of us depends on you, and we will count on you to take the message of scent prevention, most especially to the people that we meet, and also help them to understand how NS works, so that we stop the blame game. If something has come up, let us understand how the process works. Let us ask what else that we can do differently to deliver a better product. Because the biggest challenge that we have in this country, which is not helping us and not taking us anywhere, is just blaming somebody. You think by blaming somebody, you have done your part. You are not yet done. Sit with the people. We want to hear from you. You have a feedback form. Please, whoever doesn't have forms, I think my team will be able to share that form. Please let us know what your proposals are to us to improve in either or all of those parts. Procurement, how can we do our work better? Storage or warehousing, how can we do our work better? Distribution or delivering these medicines to you, how do you propose that we do our work better? I thank you very much for listening to me, and may God bless you for God and my country.
Surely we can clap better than that, because the general manager had set out to speak for just 1 hour. He spoke for 1 hour and 40 minutes, 45 minutes. That is how interesting the discussion was, GM. And I think you need a glass of water. You honestly need a glass of water. If you don't have our feedback forms, raise your hand. We want the communication the general manager is talking about. Raise your hand if you don't have a feedback form. We want to hear from as many of you as possible. So please send us the feedback. And the reason we are asking for this is that after his presentation, there must be areas of interest that you still want communication on, but also there is some form of advice you may be passing on to the team. We don't have a lot of time because there will be a tour immediately after our conversation this morning of the warehouse, and that of course may inform some of the decisions you will make in terms of the feedback, but we will pick the feedback forms as you leave. But now I wanted to invite some of your representatives, because we don't have a lot of time. I'll give them 5 minutes to try and share with us their experience from their areas of jurisdiction, but also representing the different categories of groups they come from. So I want to invite Florence Taka. She's from Busia. She's the woman chairperson Busia, to come and give her feedback.
Thank you, the organizers of this meeting, NMS. I'm known by the name Staka Florence, the women chairperson, Busia District. Yeah. I take this opportunity to appreciate the NMS for having invited us to this occasion today. For me, it's my first time to come here for such a presentation. I've not been so much equipped with the information he has been giving us. I think to me he has opened us, our eyes, our ears, to see what we are supposed to do as women representatives in our districts where we are coming from. I've been wondering how these people have been raising their maybe order. Like always, every time you go to the health workers, the health facilities, they are complaining of medicines. So in one way, to me, I have learned to say that maybe the challenge which he talked about on our side, that our in-charges were not able to do these things on time. And as he has said, that maybe with closer link with those people, maybe interaction with them, I think it will be something good to us and our communities whom we are representing, if we can be able to reach those people and see their challenges, share with them, and we see the way forward on how best we can do. I don't have so many things to talk about, being it my first time that I'm just getting to learn from NMS. I think it's a good job which they have done. According to his discussion, we need to really give them a hand clap. Like he said, there has been a gap between like the deliverance, that maybe they have taken medicine at the district, and you find that the medical staffs at the district are like, we don't have this, we don't have this. And I'm sure all of you know those are challenges at our districts. But here we are. They have given us that support, and they are able to deliver medicines back to our health facilities. I think it's a good job they are doing, and the NMS, together with us, the leaders of our districts, wherever you are coming from, we shall support you people, and we shall be there to ensure the medicines reach. When we look at what he said, what he talked about, like maybe prescription, really, it's still a big challenge. And ladies, I want to inform you, ladies and gentlemen here, I want to inform you that maybe as he has talked about that, let us not leave it here. Let's go back down there, we make follow-ups and see. We share with our medical workers. I know we shall be able to come out with a better option, especially mothers. A small talk to our mothers around us. Let's give them information, especially on the health facilities, prevention, just healthy. These ladies, most of them, they don't have information. We shall agree with you. Our ladies down there, they don't have information. They even don't know how to prevent their babies from diarrhea. They don't know. So given the chance that us, together with you people, together with the NMS staff, together with our medical workers at the district, I'm sure we can do a recommendable job to help our mothers, to help our daughters down there, to help our children in our own families regarding prevention. I looked at the budgeting that he was talking about, how our in-charges and the district make their orders. It's good that we've been given the information. I personally, I didn't know how they come up with their list of requirements. Maybe together with those people, I'm sure some of our health centers, they don't go on ground as us we are. Because for us, most of our time we are interacting with the people down on the ground. Our health workers may not be able to have that information. But as like he says, once in a while, let us reach the health workers, the health facilities, and talk to these health workers. We can come up with a better idea on how maybe they can adjust on their orders that they make to avoid that the expiration of medications. Maybe the challenges he talked about ordering. They order for this at a particular time. They are saying we no longer need this, we now need the other. And maybe these people have already procured the drugs. They may not be able to immediately change or find another district which would need this for the other. So let us help each other. Maybe if they can do that in every quarter, maybe they could do. It could be something better than doing it on a financial year basis. If they can do it quarterly, maybe we could be able to help in that way, so that we reduce on the expiration of the drugs and maybe the demands that we don't need this and yet we have this, we ordered for this, right now we don't need this. Let us help our health workers. Together we can move forward for God and my country.
Thank you very much, Florence. I now want to invite Simon Kokoi from Moroto. He's one of the youth representatives to come and speak on behalf of the youth. If Sam leaves us some time, I am happy to pick probably 2 more people to say something. Yes, Sam. Simon. Yes.
The GMNMS, Chairperson National Women Council, the leaders present, our women leaders, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good morning. Hello, time is running. My name is Kokoi Simon. I represent the youth of Moroto. And on a very best note, I must thank NMS for organizing this event. I must say, in fact, it took you 25 years to recognize that these are the people you need. And I'm very sure that after this meeting today, after this discussion today, you'll not be the NMS people have been talking about. You'll be a new face. Because there have been a lot of negative narratives going around about NMS, people do not know that actually the districts are the ones who submit deliveries to you. They know that you are the ones who import deliveries to the districts. So now this has been cleared, and I'm sure this is a change in NMS in the face of the community outside there who have not had this information today. Yes, I also have to thank NTV for please ensuring that people who are tuning in right now are getting this live, and I'm sure they've been listening from our GM. Yes, we recognize the budgeting gaps according to your discussion with us. However, you need to treat me as someone who has never seen this kind of information before, because I have a lot of challenges that I've been registering before, either when I'm walking along the road, or when I'm interacting with patients, or when I'm doing my work as a youth chairperson. One of the things that comes out is there is an issue to do with supplies when expiry date of certain drugs is due. So at the time it reaches the facility, a few days or a month, and yet you're supposed to bring it in 2 months interval. In a month's time, they have expired. So that has also been a gap in terms of this kind of deliveries. Varying quantities in terms of drugs that are being delivered to these different facilities. You may find that the delivery, and in fact, the order paper from the district tells you that there is still a lot of malaria going on, but the supply remains constant. Maybe because of the budgeting gaps that you're talking about. And this has always been an issue in some areas, especially in areas where I come from, where people can even lack to buy a Panadol. I mean, to get a Panadol in a facility and opting it to buy from a private facility. There's also a communication gap between the district and NMS. In areas, in a situation where you even find a district is failing or a facility is failing to deliver order to NMS, and nothing is done, and actually 2 months are spent when the community or that particular area is not receiving any drugs, then that means there is no close supervision, there is no close relationship between the district team and the NMS in that area. I'm just going to be highlighting a bit. I'm going to be a little tough on it. And the other one is also packaging. You've just talked about the issue of now identifying a government drug from a private facility drug. But there's also something that I interact with some of these people, but there's also what people do call now repackaging. They get your medicine as the one from government, but the same doctor or the same health worker working in that facility takes it and rebrands it and puts it in another package that is not that's not stamped as not for sale. So you also need to look into that. Essential medicine absent in most of these health facilities. You may realize that, and I've just been trying to compare. One, looking at the budgeting gaps that you're talking about, and then what you sacrifice when the budget is not reaching what the district has requested for, you find maybe sometimes people say, you see what they normally bring off of a truck is normally gloves, maybe condoms, maybe syringes, but essential drugs that are supposed to treat people, like maybe say for example an antibiotic, is really little. So and I think we also have to look into that. It's very, very key in our deliveries, as much as we're sacrificing in terms of these other budgeting constraints. Then the other one is your offices, your regional offices, GM, in some areas are poorly located. In my district, I must be honest with you, your office was located almost next to betting centers. And we're not able to realize, without maybe it was another, place where people do betting and all that. Yeah, so sometimes access is another issue. So I think you'll also have to improve on that, because if the office is not well located, and sometimes location alone attracts different interpretations. Someone may think this is another chibanda or something. Someone may think this is a potential bar or something, depending on the location. So, and I think we also have to do that, and also actualizing and making sure that the staffing in that place are active. In fact, we do not know whether NMS. I have an opportunity. I have the privilege to have known that NMS exists in Karamoja, or especially in Moroto, the regional office. But the majority of our people do not know that that office exists there. And I think because it's a little inactive, how I wish you would ensure that the staffing down there goes out and tells people on their roles and responsibility and why they can be accessed and what NMS can offer in terms of information. I have just been reading some leaflets that you've just given us. One of the leaflets is telling us who is responsible in the LDM. In the LMD, sorry, last mile delivery. One is the in charge of the lower facility. And then the next person is one person from the community must be present when they're opening those cartons. And this has been a very big gap. I don't know whether any of you here has ever witnessed any. So if you have never, GM, these are over 100 people, and if none of them has witnessed, then there should be reason for alarm. Otherwise, I have all those few points to make, and I thank you so much for God and my country.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you very much. We do not have a lot of time for the live TV discussion. I thought, GM, you can use that microphone to take on some of the reactions. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. For the lady, I think, as just emphasizing that we need to sit down with
NTV, turning on your world.
Introducing Kiri Soda in 4 different flavors: lemon, mixed berry, orange, and Kiri Cola. Celebrate life with Kiri Soda.
Let's celebrate life!
The patron of the Uganda Youth Business Forum, Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, has organized the second Youth Business Forum in Uganda under the theme Building Strategic Partnerships for Sustainable Youth Entrepreneurship and Development. That will be held on Monday 10th December 2018 at Kampala Serena Hotel, Thoria Hall. This event will be broadcast live on NTV from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. All youth and the public are invited.
First time ever, Spark TV presents the
the Spark TV Mega Festival. On the 1st of January 2019 at the Uganda Museum. Come get a feel of the best 10 performances by Uganda's heavyweight musicians and rib-cracking comedians. Plus, kids games, face painting, giveaways, and a special Spark TV tour of the Uganda Museum. Spark TV gets open early for only 10K and 20K VIP. The Spark TV Mega Festival, sponsored by Darling Uganda, Rose Farm Mattresses, Sema Properties, organized by Banjo Events, and Abite